Alright, this topic's called graphing a line in slope-intercept form. There's a lot of different types of formats. They can give you a linear equation in, and the slope-intercept form is your basic y equals mx plus b, and that's what they're going to work with you with. And I know if you're working with the Alex software, it's going to suggest that you plug in some points, like put in some values for x and see what you get for y. That's definitely a reasonable way to do it. It's not the most efficient, and the thing with the Alex software is if their graph isn't big enough to input some of the coordinate pairs you get, you're kind of up a creek. So I'm going to show you the most logical way to do this. So the first thing is, let's talk about what y equals mx plus b means. And the m is our slope, and that's going to be a tool that we use to determine how steep our line is going to be. So the slope will be generally in fraction form, or if it's just a plain number, we're going to put it in fraction form, and I'll explain that in just a minute. The b is going to be the first thing that we're going to plot, and that is what our y-intercept is. So you want to write this down. If you need to pause this for a minute, that is a good thing to do. You want to put this in your notes. Y-intercept sounds really fancy, and all it means is where the heck does this line cross the y-axis. So we're going to be able to graph the line just using these two values. So maybe let's just do an example together, and we'll work through it. Y equals 1/2 x plus, we'll say 1. So if I asked you what the slope was, hopefully you would recognize that it's a number or the fraction in front of the x. So our slope is going to be 1/2, and our y-intercept, or our b value, whichever one you want to call it, I'll just abbreviate it y-int, and that's going to be 1. So we always start with the y-intercept. You want to graph that first. How do you do that? Find the 1 value, since that's our y-intercept, on the y-axis, and we're going to put a little dot there. Alright, right there. That's the very first thing that you do. So maybe we should write that down. Plot the b value on your y-axis. It's probably supposed to be an I, huh? That's alright. I'll do the best I can. There. Alright. Plural, I think, is axes. After we do that, we're going to use the slope. We go back to the slope, and we're going to use the slope to plot the next point. Use the slope to plot next point. So our slope is 1/2, and what we need to remember is that the top number is going to tell us whether to go up or down, and the bottom number is going to tell us whether we go right or left. So our top number is 1, it's a positive 1, so we're going to go up because that's the positive 1 direction. And then our bottom number is 2, and so since it's positive also, the positive direction for x is right, so we're going to go 2 right. So great, we have a set of directions. We're going to go 1 up and 2 right, but where do we start from? Great, we start right from our b value that we plotted. So we have a line at 1, and we have a dot at 1, so from there we're going to go up 1 and over 2, and we're going to put our new dot there. Then we're going to do it again, just to make sure that we're on the right track. We're going to go up 1, and we're going to go over 2, and we're going to put our dot there. That's how we get a few points for our line. I do not have a ruler, so this is probably horrible, but hopefully you will have a ruler, because that makes it much better. Connect all your dots, and there's your line, and that's how you graph a line in slope-intercept form. Alright, let's try another example. Let's try y equals, we'll say 3x minus 5. Okay, again, we need to know what our slope is. Our slope is going to be 3, but we want to express it as a fraction. And 3/1 is the exact same thing as 3, so we're going to write it like that. Our y-intercept is 5. Oh, sorry, it's -5. Remember that negative sign in front of the 5 is married to it. It's really important to remember that. Where do we start? We start at -5 on our y-axis. So we're going to put a little dot there. Now what we do is, since our slope value, the top number is 3, it's positive. That means that we're going to go up 3, and our bottom number is 1, so we're going to go right 1. So we start at our -5, we go up 3, 1, 2, 3, and over to the right 1, and we put our dot. From the same point we just marked, we're going to go up 3 and over 1. We can do that a bunch of times if we want. 1, 2, 3. Sometimes it's hard to stop once you start. Again, take your ruler, connect all those dots. Oh, that was pretty horrible, but you get the right idea. And that's what we do to graph a line. And that means that any coordinate pair on that line will work for our equation and make it a true statement. All right, let's try one more. All right, our next example, let's try this one. Let's do y equals -2 over 3x. We'll say plus 4. Again, we need to evaluate what they've given us for information. We know that where the line's going to cross on the y-axis is 4, and we know that our slope is going to be -2 over 3. And those are the two things that are the most important things to recognize. And we also need to recognize where to start. So the 4, since that's where it's going to hit the y-axis, is the starting point. So we go up to 4 on our y-axis and put a nice dot there. That's a sloppy dot, but hey, it's my iPad and I'm kind of getting used to this, so that's my fault. Once we have that down, we want to look at the slope, because the slope is our set of directions of where our next point's going to go. The -2 on top is telling us that we need to go down 2, because the top number is telling you either up or down. The bottom number tells you right or left. Since the 3 is positive, we need to go to the right 3 spaces. So again, we start at the 4. We're going to go down 2 and over 1, 2, 3, and we're going to put a dot. Then we're going to go down 2 and we're going to go over 1, 2, 3. Cool. There's our dots. We're all set up to grab a nice ruler and then draw the line, which just doesn't want to. There we go. Still not the best line, but I will figure out how to do that better on a later date. But that's the gist of it. You need to know the slope, you need to know the y-intercept, and just use those two tools, and it's a heck of a lot easier than just plotting random points. So I'm going to give you one to try on your own. You can copy it down, hit my pause button, try it on your own, and then see if we get the same answers. Alright, for this equation, let's try y equals -1/3 x plus 2. Alright, so give that a whirl. Hit the pause button, work it out on in your notebook, and then compare your answer to my answer. Again, what we need to realize is this is where our starting point is. We need to put a dot at 2 on the y-axis. Draw that in. And then we need to analyze our slope. If our slope is equaling -1/3, this is going to tell us to go down 1. And the bottom number 3 is going to tell us to go in a +3 direction, which is right. So from the 2 that we plotted, we're going to go down 1 and over 1, 2, 3. Put a dot. We're going to go down 1 and over 1, 2, 3. And we're going to put a dot. After that, we take our pen and a nice ruler, and we draw our straightish line. Again, please use a ruler. It won't really be that accurate. All right, great. I hope you got the same answer as that, and if you have any questions, come find me and we'll figure things out. If you want another example, let me give you one more if you feel like you want the practice. Alright, let's see, how do I want to do this one? Alright, this one I'll give you a little test, see if you remember what to do if we just have, I'll give you two little curveballs here. For our equation, we're going to have y equals -2x plus 5. Alright, just one little curveball. Again, if you want to hit pause and give it a whirl, see if you end up with the same thing as I have. Yeah, hit pause and then hit play in a few minutes. What you want to start with is the 5 is the y-intercept, so you put your dot there on the y-axis, and then you realize that the slope, as we talked about a minute ago, is -2 over 1, because -2 over 1 is the same thing as -2. When we go to analyze it, the top number tells us to go down because it's negative, so we have to go down 2 units. The bottom number is a +1, so that's going to tell us to go right 1 unit. So we go back to the 5 that we've plotted on our y-axis. We're going to go down 2 and over 1. And we're going to go down 2 again and over 1. We can just keep doing that forever. But we really could get caught up in that, so we'll stop. And again, take your pen, and a ruler. Pencil's actually better. And draw your line. All right, I hope that helped. If you have any questions, come find me, and thanks for watching.